Hello there, everybody. This is King Mac, your friendly hamburger pal. Welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. Be sure to enjoy a hot, fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden French fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Thank you all for watching, and now sit back and relax and enjoy as Tony here brings you our feature presentation of TTBurger game reviews.
Why, hello there everybody! You are back, I see. Ready for some more TTBurger game reviews, eh? More Halloween themed games here to pass the time, so that more horror themed. Wait, come to the right place. Because even though Halloween's over, there's still plenty of horror Halloween themed games out there to look at here. So we're gonna continue it here in the month of November as well. And this is another episode of TTBurger Remastered game reviews here, episode 7. This is part 3 of 7 parts. And I am your host, Tony. And we're continuing with the Resident Evil series here, and before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Bregan HD and Sub-Zero, MNX for King Mac, along with Dead Hyperlamia, Brooklyn Stateside, Black Healer and Megs, along with Homie RJ, Akajira, Red Hood Assassin, The Sensational Gent, Rockstar Pool 69, and more and more and more. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. If it weren't for this channel, I wouldn't be as big as this today. Now before we continue here, we're going to talk about the sequel to the original Resident Evil game. Let's head down to Seattle to see how our friend Jackalburger is doing, because he was not doing well last time. I was talking about after losing a lot of his pumpkins in the pumpkin patch, and then when his patch got raided. Let's check how he's doing right now. Hey Jack, what's shaking down in Seattle? Doing better than last time? I know your pumpkin patch got raided and messed up. You doing okay?
Hey Tony, yeah, I'm okay. Just recovering after what happened, just staying calm. No more pumpkins stolen.
Glad you're calm. Now I'm sure that the pumpkins will be replaced for sure, but in the meantime, just try and just stay calm if it happens again. Just stay calm, just don't go loco again, crazy like how you did there. But what do you say? How about another game review? We're continuing with the Resident Evil series here. Ready for that?
Yeah, Tony, we have some more Resident Evil action where we talk about Resident Evil 2. I'm ready whenever you are.
Well, we still have to do a TTBurger recap, show everyone what they missed in case they didn't see the last video. So let's do it here, a Halloween Remastered recap here. Show everyone what they missed in case they didn't see the last part. I took a look at Resident Evil Director's Cut for the PlayStation and gave it a 6 out of 10 because while it was fun to play Resident Evil once again, it's just those of you who own the original version in the long box and stuff like that, you're about to stick with that because half the stuff they promised is not there. And getting it again at full price at the time just wasn't really worth it. Just getting 2 new modes, and that's basically it. And I know that there's some people who would tell me that I should have just included that part in part 1 like that, but it was its own game, so I decided to include it in its own part. That's why I did that there. But it is worth it to those who did not play the original Resident Evil, but those who did, just it can be worth it to have in your collection. But that's pretty much it. But now we're gonna zoom ahead to the year 1998, back when the sequel of Resident Evil was announced. It was made supposed to be Resident Evil 1.5. They were like 80% done with the game, but they scrapped it when they realized the game wasn't scary, so they went back to the drawing board, and we got the game we have here today. This is Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation, PC, Nintendo 64, Sega Dreamcast, and Nintendo GameCube. And it was released on January 21st, 1998 for the PlayStation, February 28th, 1999 for the PC, October 31st, 1999 Nintendo 64, December 6th, 2000 Sega Dreamcast, and January 14th, 2003 for the Nintendo GameCube. Look at the PlayStation version, it's all version has, but we will be talking about the other ports as well. Now, Resident Evil 2, I really liked. It was a superb sequel on many different levels, and a lot of people consider the game to be the best of the franchise in the classic style. And while it is an awesome game, I have to disagree. I do like this game more than the first game. But is it my favorite Resident Evil? No. But it's going to get a higher score than the original Resident Evil for sure. Resident Evil 2 takes place 2 months after the first game, after Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and the Reign Stars members uncovered the truth about the zombie infestation in the mansion in the Raccoon Forest, where they learned that the captain of the S.T.A.R.S, Albert Wesker, was behind everything, working for Umbrella Corporate along with scientist William Birkin, creating the T-virus and more. Wesker's plan was to lure the S.T.A.R.S members into the mansion and laboratory together, battle data against the tyrant, to use them as test subjects. This thing was called X-Day. But this failed as the tyrant was destroyed and the mansion blew up and the Remain Stars members survived and foiled everything. But when they came back, nobody believed them. And not long after that, the T-virus and the outbreak and the zombies and stuff spread to Raccoon City, and all the citizens became zombie stuff. Well, most of the citizens, I mean. Resident Evil 2 stars 2 new characters. Leon S. Kennedy, a rookie cop for the Raccoon Police Department, was his first day on his job, and he became one of the top protagonists of the series. And we have college student Claire Redfield, who is the younger sister of Chris Redfield, who came to town to find him. These 2 characters will become key characters later in the game, just like Jill and Chris. They are separated after the cop car they take is destroyed after a zombie infected driver driving a tanker stuff crashes onto the car and it blows up. And the 2 must split past and stuff like that. Leon starts on the left side of the police car, and Claire starts on the left right of the police car, vice versa, depending on which scenario you play. The story is broken into 4 scenarios: Leon A, Claire A, Leon B, and Claire B. You start with the A scenario, so after you beat the A scenario, you do the B scenario. Like, for example, Leon A, you beat it, you do Claire B, because the Claire B scenario goes on around the same time the Leon A scenario, and the Claire A and Leon B, and etc. stuff. And that just kind of off topic there. For me, I like the Leon A and Claire B the best. For me, that's canon. I don't buy the whole canon thing where Claire A and Leon B are the canon scenario. My B is Leon A and Claire B. The story is told really well, adding new characters, seeing how the zombie outbreak spread to Raccoon City. It adds more information, it adds a little more serious tone this time. Leon and Claire have their own abilities. Leon can upgrade his weapons with parts he finds throughout the scenarios, and he comes with a lighter. Claire can use her lockpick to open doors and stuff like that, and has a grenade launcher just like Jill and stuff. And she finds a lighter and stuff, but still, that's just staying there. Leon and Claire also have partners throughout their scenarios. Leon has Ada Wong, a woman who arrived in Raccoon City trying to find her boyfriend John, who was working for Umbrella, and to find him escape the city. Claire has Sherry Birkin, the daughter of William Birkin and Annette Birkin, who both work for the Umbrella chemical plant. You take control of these 2 characters as well. A lot of people did not like playing as Sherry. She was a little girl who had no attacks and such, but she worked well for me, better than she did in Resident Evil 6. We'll talk more about that later. We have to continue. The graphics in Resident Evil 2 look great, better than the first game's graphics. They're not as block pixelated like last time, they look better too. You can see the faces more clearly, and they animate better and more. Enemy models look great too. There's a more variety in the type of enemies you see. Like, you have different zombie models, like you have both male and female zombies. You have different types of service dogs and stuff, and you also have these new enemies called lickers, or kind of like the hunters who like what they do. They lick and stuff like that, and they're annoying as hell. And you also have these ivy plants that are like poisonous plants that show poison. You have the main bosses, which is Mr. X, aka the Tyrant, and William Birkin, who injected the new virus, or the G virus, into his own body. After Umbrella tried to take his work and everything, and he became a mutated monster and stuff like that. You learn about the G virus and stuff as well, which was a different virus and stuff that Umbrella was working on. And especially because Birkin has different forms as well, he stalks you throughout the game along with Mr. X, the Tyrant and stuff. The environments also look quite good. There's more detail to them, and they're bigger too, even though the lighting is still a little too bright in certain areas for like a horror theme game. But it's still, it looks better and stuff. Especially the police precinct and stuff, and the underground laboratory, and the sewers and more. The precinct is pretty much like the mansion of Resident Evil 2, because you had to find the keys to unlock the doors like that. Like in the last game, you had a sword key, armor key, helmet key, and shield key. This time, you have a spade key, a diamond key, a heart key, and a club key and stuff. So it's basically like cards, like based off cards and stuff like this time, instead of like a knight or stuff like that. This time, instead of like the not so good F&B scenes, this time we have CG cutscenes, which actually look better than the grainy F&B scenes. There's more dialogue in them too, and just fit better in my opinion with the F&B scenes and stuff in the first game. The doors seem to hear once again, and they're better this time, because this time the knob turning up and the sound stuff sync up at the same time, and they're a little shorter as well, and the load times are a little shorter this time. The frame rate is smooth too and stuff, and the fixed camera and stuff is still there, and they look great definitely. The sound is also improved from the first time. Last time we had so bad that it's funny voice acting, which a lot of people hated, but I never have a problem with it. This time, the voice acting is better, and those who did not like the voice acting the first game, you will like the voice acting this time. The voice acting for the most part is quite good. There are some actors who sound over the top, like Chief Brian Iams and reporter Ben Bertolucci. But the best voice acting comes from the late Paul Haddad, who voiced Leon, and Alison Claire, who would voice Claire Redfield, who was in shows like The Big Lynette and the Big Tubby Couch and such. She voices Claire. Sally Hill, who voices Ada, and we have Japanese Canadian actress Lisa Yamanaka, who is known for voicing Wanda in The Magic School Bus, and Paula Morton in Down vs. 2 voices Sherry. They all do a great job, although some of the dialogue is a little over the top, like you have Ben saying, "Damn, I don't believe I almost got the story," and like the Chief Brian Irons laughs and stuff like that and stuff, and how Annette sounds sometimes is a little over the top, but it's not that bad. The music is a little disappointing for me. Last time we had scary horror tunes. This time the tunes seem more a little like action horror, and this time, yeah, sure they are good, just not as good as the tunes in the original. I'm talking about the original, not the DualShock tracks. So I'm just saying there to let it out there, because the DualShock music is still one of the worst to this day. The weapons sound better this time. They sound like real weapons instead of like toy guns or so, and more variety in the door sounds too. Like there were a lot of doors that are in the first game all sound the same. Here, some of them have different sound effects, like the big blue doors and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. The gameplay is what improves the most in Resident Evil 2. The sequel plays like the original game with force now as an added replay value to it. Like I mentioned, you play as two main characters, Leon S.T.A.R.S and Claire Redfield. I'm playing as Claire because she's my favorite character in the second favorite character in the franchise, but favorite in the game. Those of you who played the original Resident Evil feel right at home here because the premise is very similar. Your goal is to survive and escape using whatever means necessary, using ammo, saving ammo, finding healing items, finding keys to unlock doors, solving puzzles and stuff, and there you go. The puzzles here are actually a lot of fun here and stuff. Like, sure, a lot of them are simple, but some of them do have a challenge there for sure. And those of you who do not have the puzzles mastered, you will be in for a treat because some of them do not hold your hand, which is good. Leon and Claire have partners in this scenario, so you take control as, and like you have Ada Wong and Sherry Birkin. Ada has a pistol and stuff like that. She plays similar to Leon, while Sherry has no weapon. She can easily dodge enemies like that. They can't bite her, even though they can puke on her, which can kill her and stuff like that. And a lot of people thought Sherry was useless because she has no attacks. But you have to understand, Sherry was a 12-year-old girl. Of course she's not gonna have a weapon. She's not gonna know how to fire a gun or anything like that. But she's able to solve puzzles, so she is useful to her own extent. She's better than she was in Resident Evil 6, and I'll say that to the day I die and stuff. You also get items like in this like weapon store, like a submachine gun and a side pack. Like for example, if you get the submachine gun on Leon A, the machine gun will not be in the locker, so Claire will get the side pack and stuff. I recommend getting the side pack for the B scenario because the side pack doesn't come more in handy. Because if you have the side pack in the B scenario, you will get a submachine gun in a secret room and stuff like that in like the laboratory and stuff. The tank controls are still here along with the fixed camera rails, but I'm cool with I never had a problem with them. And Resident Evil 2 definitely took all the things that made the first game and made it better. Start that with two new characters that because remember was Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield. Sure, Jill Valentine is still my favorite character, but these character stuff are still definitely worth it in the end. Resident Evil 2 was ported to multiple consoles, starting with the PlayStation, then the Nintendo 64, the PC, the Sega Dreamcast, and Nintendo GameCube, along with the Gamecom as well. For me, the best version is the PlayStation version, because that was the system it came out with. I feel like the PlayStation controller works perfectly, and it was the first console it was on, so I'll stick with that one stuff, because it's got a lot of content in it for sure. And they also have the DualShock version, which does not change the music and stuff like that, but it gives you a range mode with a rookie data where you have like all the badass weapons at the start, but it makes the game too easy. The Nintendo 64 version, I really like how they were able to fit 2 discs of content on the single Nintendo 64 cartridge, and like how they had all the CG cutscenes and stuff and the pre-rendered scenes in the game, and it was the only Nintendo 64 thing that did that. But everything was all compressed and muffled and low quality due to the hardware and the system and stuff. And while I appreciate what Angel Studios and Capcom did, just that the controller just isn't really the best for a type of game like this. And with the way how everything was all compressed and everything like that and stuff, and how the sound was not very good, it just, while I like what they did here, Resident Evil 2 just didn't really seem to fit well on Nintendo 64. The PC version, I have no opinion on it because I never played it. I wasn't really a PC gamer and stuff. Same with the Dreamcast version. The Sega Dreamcast version, while it's more higher res than the PlayStation version stuff, it's just like, I just prefer the PlayStation version more. The Nintendo GameCube version is better than the Nintendo 64 version, but it was the same game with just like slightly better graphics. It came out after the remake. You think it would be a remake of the first game, but it wasn't the case there. And you're spending like 40 or 50 bucks on a game that's already like 3 years old, and it feels kind of like shovelware this time, but it actually looks better and sounds better, and the controller is better than the Nintendo 64 version. That's just me. And the GameCom version, we know how bad that one is like that. But yeah, I had fun with Resident Evil 2. It was an awesome sequel, but now the negatives. Leon needs to find death keys to unlock deaths, while Claire can just use the lockpick and stuff. Ada, when you play Ada, she doesn't feel any different from Leon. Sherry at least did feel different from Claire. Some over-the-top voice acting, armament from the music, and the lickers are annoying and stuff like that, like the hunters. That's all I have to say. Final thoughts: if you enjoyed Resident Evil 2 will definitely not disappoint because it's a better game overall. I give it a 9.5 out of 10 because of the problems I have with it. I also forgot to mention that there are some extras too that you can play, like you can play as Hankas from Bella's Salvage Team, and you can play as this character called Tofu instead, which is a piece of tofu and stuff, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much what you guys say about Resident Evil 2. So, Jack, what did you think of Resident Evil 2? I know you were dying to hear my thoughts on it. What did you think of it?
Tony, now that is what I am talking about. A better sequel with more fun and replay value, with 4 scenarios, although I am a little disappointed in you because you talked down about the Nintendo 64 version. I know you're not a fan of that version. I just feel you were a little bit too hard on it. But that's just me.
Well, I respect your opinion, and I'm not going to fault you for that. But I just feel like the Nintendo 64 version was just not up to par. I know people consider that the best one because of what they were able to do with it, but you gotta think of it from a technical perspective here. That's what it is.
Definitely, Tony. So what is coming up next for the Resident Evil series review? We have more to go, but we are at a halfway point. I think the third game is coming up.
Well, Jack, you are right. The third game, we go back to Raccoon City once again. This time we play as my favorite character, Jill Valentine, in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. How's it fare? Well, you'll have to find out for sure.
Oh, nice. Jill's in the game. That takes the cake for sure. Especially since she's your favorite Resident Evil character. I cannot wait, Tony. But I must get back to the pumpkin patch and keep a close eye on it. So I must go now, Tony.
Yeah, you better get back there. Don't want any more pumpkins stolen there. But for episode 7 part 4 of 7, we're gonna take a look at Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, because it's supposed to be a spin-off, but they turned it into a sequel of Resident Evil 2. And how does it fare? That's the final next page. All I gotta say is Tony, peace and out, have a good day, and see you on my review of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Take care, everybody.